Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim, yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mission. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I would like to welcome all of you for our study of Sri Bhagavad Gita. Second chapter, the last two verses we have to do. We will be finishing second chapter today. So we are in the verse number 71. So last week we discussed about couple of things like Sthita Prajna. For a Sthita Prajna, day and night, that metaphor we have seen, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam Tasyam Jagrati Samyami Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani Sa Nisha Pashyato Mune. So what is the night for all beings is the time of awakening for the Sthita Prajna, and also the time of awakening for all beings is the night for Sthita Prajna, right? That's what we discussed. So means two types of intelligence, Sthita Prajna's intelligence or materialistic intelligence. So one who is fixed on the soul and who experience that spiritual bliss, is that, so that is the Sthita Prajna's intelligence. And materialistic intelligence is basically they will be fixing not on the soul and super soul, however they will be fixing their mind on the sense objects. That makes them experience some happiness or a lamentation or bewilderment or whatever. So the night for the materialistic people will be like the time for awakening for the spiritualist, and for the night for spiritualist is the morning for day for the materialistic. Basically, the meaning is that Sthita Prajna or devotees are not interested in material objects. However, on the other hand, materialistic, they are not at all interested in spiritual topics. So both the cases. So two opposites. Now after that we seen that how Sthita Prajnas are not agitated by the desires. Apuryamanam achala pratishtam samudra mapana pravishanti yadva. That verse we have seen. Tadvat kama yam pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnodi na kama kami. So how the ocean is always still, and whenever, even though many rivers come and fill the ocean remains peaceful. There is no overflow. Similarly, Sthita Prajna or a devotee, they will always remain peaceful, even though they may get some some desires will come into their mind. They will not act on the desire and will be always staying peaceful and calm. That is what we discuss in the 70th verse. 71st verse speaks about qualities of Sthita Prajna. So let's recite the verse. I need to share the screen. 1 second. Okay, somebody can recite with me. Vihaya kaman ya sarvan.
Vihaya kaman yah sarvan.
Pumam sarati nispraha.
Pumam sarisit nispraha.
Nirmamo nirahankara.
Nirmamo nirankara.
Sashantim adhigacchati.
Sashantin adhigacchati.
Please read the translation.
A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so Krishna is saying that he's saying Vihaya Kaman Ya Sarvan. one who has given up all the kaman, all the objects of sense enjoyment, pumam starati nishpraha, one who is without any desires, in the sense these desires are called not the desire for a material existence, maintenance basically. The desires for maintenance is okay, because we need bodily maintenance is required, but our desire should not be more than what is required. It should not be more than required. So pumam starati nishpraha, he is without desires means he is without any unnecessary desires except for the bodily maintenance. Nirmamo nirahankaraha, one who has given up all the sense of mamo. Mamo means possessiveness. And nirahankara, one who is devoid of false ego or false identity. False ego means false identity, thinking that we are the body. Sa shanti madhikachati, such a person alone can attain real peace. Such a person can only attain real peace. So, so Krishna is here saying that without any desires. So what is actually desirelessness? Desirelessness, no one can be desireless, but one has to change the quality of one's desire. We cannot be desireless. Desires will come and go. But we have to change the quality of desire. What we are desiring, that we have to think. So if we understand that everything belongs to Krishna, if we don't claim the proprietorship over anything or any desire or desire anything for ourselves and selfish enjoyment, that is a proper desire. Means we understand the position of Krishna and we are not claiming any proprietorship of any of our possessions, of material possessions or name or wealth or whatever. So if we claim it, then that desires are not proper. So we need to see. So Krishna consciousness, so we should have a spiritual desires, not a problem. We should understand that we are Krishna's part and parcel, and in that consciousness, if we have any desire, it could be spiritual desire. If it is a spiritual desire, that's okay, healthy. But if it is a material desire, it's not healthy. And finally, our Acharya says the real desirelessness is the desire for the satisfaction of Krishna. So desire for satisfying Krishna is the real desire, and that is desirelessness also from the materialistic point of view. So two things. The real desire, the desirelessness means having spiritual desire and having desire to having desire for the satisfaction of Krishna. That is the real desire or real desirelessness. Okay, now coming to the purport of Srila Prabhupada, let's read Srila Prabhupada ki jai. To become desireless means not to desire anything for sense gratification. This is the meaning. Here the desires talking about the material desires in the verse. Desires for sense gratification, we should be desireless. In other words, desire for becoming Krishna conscious is actually desirelessness. This is what Prabhupada says. If you want to become a devotee, if you want to desire for becoming Krishna conscious, is actually a desire, actually desirelessness, because it is not a material desire. It's a spiritual desire. To understand one's actual position as the eternal servitor of Krishna without falsely claiming this material body to be oneself, and without falsely claiming the proprietorship of anything in the world, is the perfect stage of Krishna consciousness. So understanding our position as eternal servants of Krishna and not claiming any proprietorship over anything in this world, and that is the proper stage of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada says, one who is situated in this perfect stage knows that because Krishna is the proprietor of everything, and everything must be used for the satisfaction of Krishna. Very important. We are part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is the proprietor, so we have to always remember that Everything to be used should be used in the to be used in the satisfaction for Krishna only. Arjuna did not want to fight for his own sense gratification, sense satisfaction, because when he became fully Krishna conscious, he fought because Krishna wanted him to fight. For himself, there was no desire to fight, but for Krishna, the same Arjuna fought to his best ability. See, in the initial part of Bhagavad Gita, we have seen this. Arjuna was not ready to fight, but when he became Krishna conscious, he fought. He fought not for himself, for Krishna, because that was the desire of Krishna. And we know the reasons of why the war was inevitable. War was inevitable for re-establishing the dharma. So Prabhupada further says, real desirelessness is the desire for the satisfaction of Krishna, not an artificial attempt to abolish desire. So we don't have to, abandon the desires. However, we can redirect our desires in a proper channel. When we desire to serve Krishna, when we desire to satisfy Krishna, that is actually the real desire, and also it is the real desirelessness also. Because it's not a material desire. The living entity cannot be desireless or senseless, but he does not have to change the quality of desires. He does have to change the quality of desires. A materially desireless person certainly knows that everything belongs to Krishna. Ishavasimidam sarvam yat kinja jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjida ma grada kasya svidhanam. So Ishavasim principle says that everything belongs to Krishna, and everything belongs to Krishna. Don't take the proprietorship of anything. Also accept the quota what is given by Krishna and be happy with that. That is what Ishavasi principle. So whatever is being provided to us by Krishna, whatever situation, whatever circumstance we have to be happy with that. That is the principle of Ishavasyam. Again, from Shastras, Ishopanishad. So that doesn't mean that we should not have any desire. We can have even we will have some material desire. That material desire, if it is only for the maintenance of our body, it's okay. For example, we want to have a proper place to sleep, we want to have a food to eat. These are some material desires. So that is required for the maintenance of the body. So that is okay. However, we should not have other unlimited greedy. We should not be greedy for material sense gratification. That is not good. So he says further, this transcendent knowledge is based on self-realization, namely knowing perfectly well that every living entity is a part and parcel of Krishna in spiritual identity, and that the eternal position of living entity is therefore never on the level of Krishna or greater than him. So Krishna is always greater, the living entities are always below him for sure. He is Vibhu, we are only Anu. However, we should know that we are the part and parcel of Krishna. So spiritual, there is some similarity also. That is, we are also Satchit Ananda. We are also eternal bliss and knowledgeable and knowledgeful, and Krishna is also like that. But he is Vibhu, means he is great, and we are Anu, means we are very small, again insignificant. Last verse of this chapter. Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha
Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha
Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati
Nainam Prapya Vimutyati
Stitvasyam Antakalepi
Stitvasyam Antakalepi
Brahma Nirvana Mrichyati.
Brahma Nirvana Mrichyati. That is the way of the spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered. If one is thus situated even at the hour of the death, one can enter into the kingdom of God. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So here Krishna is concluding this chapter by saying that what is the destination of Siddha Prajna? So we were discussing about the qualities of Siddha Prajna from verse number 53 onwards, right? So Krishna is 50 or 54 onwards basically, and Krishna is now concluding by saying that what is the destination of such devotees or Siddha Prajna? This is being mentioned here. So one who is following whatever Krishna said, so attain. So for them, even at the time of death, even at the hour of death, one can enter the kingdom of God and attain Brahma Nirvana, means deathlessness. Basically, will get liberation, and not more than liberation, can go back to spiritual world. That's the point. So Siddha Prajna can go back to, will be able to go back to spiritual world actually, if they are practicing, or if whatever we have mentioned, if they follow, and if that is being followed, of course. If they are not following, they are not Siddha Prajna. If they are Siddha Prajna, means they will be following whatever is being discussed from the 54th verse, and their destination is spiritual world basically. Prabhupada's purport, let's read. One can attain Krishna consciousness or divine life at once within a second, or may not attain such a state of life even after millions of births. So this is the Prabhupada mentions this point. Krishna consciousness we may get very fast, or it may take lifetimes. We don't know. It is only a matter of understanding and accepting the fact. Means if we get a chance to understand it, and if we understand it, then we'll be successful. Otherwise, if you are not taking it, or if you are not giving attention to this spirituality, then we will not be able to understand, maybe for lifetimes, maybe many millions of lives, we don't know. Then he gives an example here, Katwanga Maharaj. Katwanga Maharaj attained this state of life just a few minutes before his death by surrendering unto Krishna. This is given in the Bhagavatam, also other scriptures. Katwanga Maharaj is one of the devotee, one of the devotee king. He was a great fighter. He was a great king. And one time when there was a fight between demons and the demigods, demigods came to Katwanga Maharaj. Katwanga Maharaj is in earthly planets, and demigods from Swargaloka came and requested Katwanga Maharaj to come to the heavenly planets and fight against the demons, because some demons were fighting against Devatas. So Devatas, they were taking the help of the Katwanga Maharaj because he was very powerful. And Katwanga Maharaj fought like anything, and he was able to conquer all the demons on behalf of the Devatas. So Devatas became very happy and pleased with the service of Katwanga Maharaj, and Devatas asked him, what benediction you need, what boon you need. We are happy to give you anything you ask. Katwanga Maharaj asked one question. Okay, fine. You are ready to give me all the benediction or boon. Can I ask you one question? Can you give me one? Can you give me answer? Then accordingly I will ask the boon. So they said, okay, fine. You ask. He said, how much more time for me left for me to live in this world? So they said, you have only one muhurta. So one muhurta is around 48 minutes. So they mentioned that you have only 48 minutes time. Immediately Katwanga Maharaj said, I don't need anything from this, from any material opulence or anything. Let me go back, let me go to my place and let me meditate on Krishna. So what he did, he left everything and immediately he went. He understood that he doesn't have much time. He left everything and completely took shelter of Krishna, and he started chanting holy names, and he had one muhurta, and in that muhurta he completely utilized that his time for remembering Krishna, for chanting Krishna's holy names and remembering him, and he then after that he is dying and he is going back to spiritual world. So that is what Prabhupada here quoting, that for Katwanga Maharaj it was, in one muhurta he became perfect. However, he was not an ordinary soul. He was able to remember that this is what I need to do at the last moment. That he remembered because he was a devotee. He was a devotee king. Otherwise, he will not remember. Right? Krishna made him remember that. Krishna made him ask this question also. First of all, he should not have. Maybe if he is not asking the question, he will not come to know that he has only 48 minutes, one muhurta with him. Huh? So he asked the question. Krishna gave him intelligence as Paramatma. He asked and he got the answer, and immediately he did the needful. No other things. Left everything and went. He could have asked even the position of Indra. I mean, he will not ask, I am saying. He could have, but he did not. He completely left everything and then started. He just went and, he went there and perfected his life. Then Prabhupada says, Nirvana means ending the process of materialistic life. Here the verse Brahma Nirvana is mentioned. So this is mainly because the meaning is that basically going to the spiritual world or getting liberation. Or basically in other words we can say that ending, that's the end of materialistic life, and we are getting going to the spiritual realm. According to the Buddhist philosophy, there is only void after the completion of this material life. But Bhagavad Gita teaches differently. So Buddhist philosophy is wrong because they say everything is void. After we complete the material life, we will be becoming void. So there is nothing like void. So that is a wrong philosophy. Actual life begins after the completion of this material life. So this is also important. We think that this is our actual life, what we are going through now. Actually, no. Actual life begins in the spiritual world. This is only, some illusory kind of life. So Prabhupada says, actual life begins after the completion of this material life. For the gross materialist, it is sufficient to know that one has to end this materialistic way of life, but for the person who are spiritually advanced, there is another life after materialistic life. For the gross materialistic, for the normal materialistic, for them they are also fearful for dying. And they also know that, okay, I will die one day. So he is fearful. However, for one who is spiritually advanced, for them nothing. What death? The death is also a happy moment for them, because for them for them it is, they are going to enter into the spiritual world. If they are qualified, then they will be happy actually. They will welcome death in a happy way. But for a materialistic, gross materialist, they cannot tolerate, such kind of things. So before ending this life, if one fortunately become Krishna conscious, he at once attains the stage of Brahma Nirvana. Brahma Nirvana means going back to spiritual world. There is no difference between kingdom of God and devotional service of the Lord. This is nice point. There is no difference between kingdom of the God and devotional service of the Lord, since both of them are on the absolute plane. To be engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord is to have attained the spiritual kingdom. So what is the meaning of that? So going back to spiritual world doesn't always mean that we are physically going back also. In fact, even we can be in the material world. However, if we are practicing pure devotional service, then it is equal to going back to spiritual world, because such spiritualist will not see the difference, will not feel any difference in this material world and the spiritual world. Why? Because they are always Krishna conscious and they are always serving Krishna in different ways. For them, spiritual world and material world is same. Anyway, we are not in that platform. This is the view of or vision of exalted pure devotees. That is why Prabhupada says, going into the spiritual world or doing some service to Krishna both are same in one context. From the absolute perspective, that is same. Like we say, Harinam and Krishna is same, right? Name of Krishna and form of Krishna is same. We say how? Because on the absolute plane, all are same. Because anything connected to Krishna, it is like that. It's absolute truth. In this material world, there are activities for sense gratification, whereas in the spiritual world, there are activities for Krishna consciousness, of Krishna consciousness. Attainment of Krishna consciousness, even during this life, is immediate attainment of Brahman, and one who is situated in Krishna consciousness has certainly already entered into the kingdom of God. So, if we are, even if we may be in the material world, however, if we are in the material world, if we are Krishna conscious, then it is like we are already liberated, basically. It is like that. It's not. This is said by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Iha yasya harer dasye karmana manasagira nikilasu api avastasu jivan mukta sa uchyate. So Srila Rupa Goswami says, anyone by his body, mind and words, BMW, body, mind and words, anyone who is living in this material world only for the loving, transcendental loving service of the Lord is already a liberated soul. Even though he may appear to be in the material existence, but he is already liberated. So that's the proper understanding actually. However, in our conditioned state, we are not in this level. So we will not understand this actually. We will not be able to experience it properly because we are in the conditioned state now also. So I have given examples before also. If you ask our Yamaraj, Yamaraj is a pure devotee of Krishna. He is Mahajan, and he is serving Krishna in the hell, giving punishment to the people, for the sinners. But he is happily doing that service. For him, being in the spiritual world or being in here and doing this job, he is happy because he is serving Krishna. He is in that mood. He is in that mood, transcendental loving service to Krishna, and he is happy. So, like that. Now, Prabhupada says further, Brahman is just opposite of matter. Therefore, Brahmi Sthiti means not on the platform of material activities. So, matter, opposite of matter is Brahman. So, devotional service of the Lord is accepted in Bhagavad Gita as the liberated stage. Sa gunan samititayan brahma bhoyaya kalpade. Therefore, Brahmi Sthiti is the liberation from material bondage. So, Brahmi Sthiti, as mentioned in the shloka, is basically going above, or it's kind of it's liberation or getting out of this material bondage. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura has summarized this chapter of Bhagavad Gita as being the contents for the whole text. So, Prabhupada has given this chapter entitled, he has given title as Contents of Gita Summarized. Basically, that was the summarize. That was the title given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually. He has summarized, he has said that. In the Bhagavad Gita, subject matters of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, everything is there, right? And in the second chapter, we have seen little bit of Karma Yoga. We have already seen Jnana Yoga, all the Sankhya philosophy like the science of the soul, everything we have seen. Now those are actually part of Jnana Yoga. And Karma Yoga also we have seen, Nishkama Karma Yoga we have seen. Also, we have seen the glimpse of Bhakti Yoga, where we have seen the glimpse of Bhakti Yoga in the discussion of Siddha Prajna and all. That is the Bhakti Yoga. So, all the main Karma, Jnana, Bhakti, everything is there in the second chapter basically, little bit here and there. And that is why the chapter is called as Contents of Gita. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports to the second chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of its contents. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Hare Krishna. So that's how we conclude the second chapter by Krishna's mercy. After a long time, it took a really long time for us because we are going through each and every line of the purport and discussing, which is really good. Our target is not to finish Bhagavad Gita. You can all read Bhagavad Gita by your own and make notes and mark the points. Everything you can do. That we should do. We should not wait for this class to happen once in a week and read. No, not like that. You have to read, because you need to read Bhagavad Gita. You need to read other books also. You need to read Bhagavatam. Everything we should do. However, during that journey, we can also learn thoroughly what exactly is every line of what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, what Prabhupada is saying in his through his purports, our Acharya is saying, and how practically we can follow this. All this we need to discuss. We cannot just run and read it, right? So the point is that please do not wait for every Saturday to just hear something, and then please don't think that, oh, I am not able to finish Bhagavad Gita. So almost 1 year passed, we have just done the second chapter. And it will take really, because there are 18 chapters, it's not easy. We can rush through. That's okay. That's one way of doing it. But even we have some courses, 18 days course. What you will be learning is like a crash course. But final output, intake will be very less. But when we do like this, there is proper understanding of Shastras. Not only that, even though we have covered only 2 chapters, we have already discussed the entire Bhagavad Gita's essence already. So the entire Bhagavad Gita essence is already discussed through many purports of Prabhupada. So we are gaining lot of not only knowledge, in fact realizations. We are getting some vijnana also. So like that we should understand. So my request to all of you is that please continue reading your Shastras and read more, and then when we hear also, then we can relate what we are reading. Is my understanding correct or not? If not, how can I improve my understanding? If we have any doubts on it, we can clarify that. So many things we can do. So please, my request to all of you is to please read by yourself, and if you have any questions, please ask also. Okay? And by Krishna willing, we will continue this as much as possible. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Gaura Premanande. I am stopping here and leaving the floor for any questions if you have. And Krishna willing, we'll start the 3rd chapter next week fresh.